Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about all of my main speed cubes and what I average for those events. A little bit of a backstory on me: I've been to over 40 competitions in almost 5 years, and I compete in all of the events, although I still have never successfully solved a 4x4 or 5x5 blindfolded yet. So we'll just get started here real quick. For 2x2 I use an old plastic DaYan 2x2, although this one has seen better days. It definitely needs to be cleaned out, and because of that I've been using this Weipo. For 3x3 I've been using a Weilong GTS lately with a lot of lube in it because they kind of need that to become usable in my opinion. Also, the mini Weilong has been one of my favorite 3x3s for a long time, and I use it quite a bit still. For regular 3x3 I never really have a main, it's just kind of whatever cube I feel like using that day. 4x4 is the Moyu Aosu regular size from 2014. I don't necessarily like the mini. I have a bunch of these full-size ones, and this is the first one I ever got. It's never had the stickers replaced. Every once in a while I have to put them back on during a solve because they kind of fall off now. For 5x5 I use the Moyu Bochang 5x5. I do not believe that this is the GT, but I've set it up and it works well for me. For 6x6, I've been using the Yushin 6x6 lately because it just came out. I do think it's probably going to stay my main over this Aoshi that I've been using for a really long time. 7x7 is the Cubic Aofu GT. I swapped the springs in this. I used it as my main before I swapped the springs, but I enjoy 7x7 so much more now that I've done that. For 3x3 with feet, I use a Moyu Tanglong. I think this is a really good cube to use for feet because it's sturdy, it does not corner twist or pop, and those are the two main things that I really look for. I also use this for blind when I compete officially, although when I practice at home, I use the GANS 356S version 2 Master Edition. The reason I cannot use this officially is because it has a logo on it that feels different than the other stickers. Eventually I'll probably take that off and start using it officially again. For 3x3 one-handed, I use my right hand and I use the Weilong GTS. I've been kind of switching over from this 55mm Zanshi that I've used since 2013. It's done really well for me since then, but I've been getting better times on the GTS lately. For 3x3 multiple blindfolded, I'll use a mixture of the Tanglong, this mini Weilong, and then a couple of Thunderclaps and some other cubes that don't have logos on them, like this mini Aolong for example. For Scube, I use the Moyu Scube. I've never actually owned a Chi Yi. I think that that's the better Scube, but because I don't practice Scube, I've just stuck with this one. For Square One, it's the Chi Yi Square One pretty obviously. Since this came out, I have not seen anyone use anything different at a competition. That's just at the ones I've been to though, so I'm sure people are still using old ones for some reason. For Pyraminx, I use the stickerless DaYan Pyraminx. I bought this and a transparent pink one. That's because I didn't think I was going to use either of them as my main, as I kind of liked the Moyu when these came out. But this one was so much slower than any of my other Pyraminxes that I can control it better while turning, and overall get better times. For Rubik's Clock, I actually use a hybrid. It is a Lingao body with Rubik's brand pins and washers, and I checkerboarded all these faces, and it's still competition legal because of this, because it doesn't give you any further indication as to what's noon. That is about it for the cubes that I use. Now I'll be talking about what I average on each event. I average about 4 seconds on 2x2, although I never solve it at home, aside from when I do a 2x2 through 7x7 relay occasionally. 3x3, I'm about 10 to 11 seconds, and 3x3 one-handed, I average about 20 seconds. I average about 45 on 4x4. 5x5 is close to a minute 20, but really closer to like a minute 22, a minute 23. 6x6, I'm kind of inconsistent, so it's a little hard to say. I do get averages about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but sometimes I get them up closer to 2 minutes and 50 seconds. 7x7, I'm pretty close to being sub 4 minutes. I get a lot of sub 3-minute averages, but sometimes I still get those 4-minute ones. 3x3 with feet is about mid 50 seconds. 3x3 blindfolded is just about exactly 2 minutes. For multiple blindfolded, I usually attempt 8 cubes at home, although I've never actually solved 8 cubes. I did 7 one time in 59 minutes. My best time attempt at 8 cubes was 51 minutes, I believe. And that was actually before the 59-minute one. For Scube, it's really hard to say because I don't really know. Maybe 7 seconds, I think, was my last official average. For Square One, I'm kind of stuck at about 34, 35 seconds. I really need to learn a bunch of cube shape stuff to get better at this. Megaminx, I'm right about 4 seconds still. I haven't practiced this nearly as much as I used to, but I'd still really like to get a sub 4 second average officially. Megaminx, I'm right around a minute 13 to a minute 16, so I'd really like to beat my official average sometime soon. For Clock, it's about 6 to 7 seconds, probably closer to 6 seconds, but I do still mess up solves quite often. Also, I don't strictly use this clock. I do have a number of Rubik's brand clocks that turn quite well and I use actually pretty often. So for Nationals 2016, all of those times that I mentioned are just kind of what I'd like to get. If I mentioned a lower end to an event, I'd like to get closer to that, obviously. But I mostly just go to these competitions to have fun. And I do like beating personal bests, and I think I have a good chance to do that at upcoming competitions. So if you would be so kind as to leave a comment with your main speed cubes, if you want to add your averages in the comment as well, that would be great. I read every single one and I really enjoy hearing what everyone else uses. I get that it's kind of a MoU fest right now for most everyone, but as other companies are getting better, I'm excited to hear what everyone's using now. That is it for today. Thank you so very much for watching. Goodbye.